We begin the reprise in the titular status revoked Cave of Skulls. The doctor's apologising, saying that it's all his fault, only for Susan to immediately start telling him it isn't. Hang on, Doctor, do you want to quickly do this little questionnaire for me? Did you kidnap 2 teachers from the 1960s? Yes. Did you use anachronistic methods to light your pipe? Yes. Did you claim to be able to make fire, only then swiftly backpedal when you realised you'd lost your matches? Yes. So, it is your fault, and you really should apologise. Anyway, Ian comments on the state of said schools. Whoa, stop. Now they're split wide open? I'm sure that's not what he said last week. Let's have a look.
They're all the same. They've been split open. Yes, they're all the same. They've been split wide open.
Oh my god. 3 episodes in. The first 3 chronological entries. The first 3 televised chapters in the continuing saga that is Doctor Who. An established continuity is already being disrespected. No, it's fine. It's early days. Mistakes will be made, but I'm sure that going forward, the continuity of the show will be thoroughly researched and rigorously adhered to. Anyway, next door there's a mass of cave folk bodies that look like they're about 30 seconds away from beginning the first prehistoric shunting. The old woman disentangles herself from the hot mass, steals Tsar's knife from his sleeping body and heads for the cave and the prisoners. Inside, Ian tries using pieces of stone to cut their bonds, but it's no good. The doctor suggests using some pieces of skull instead, because in his mind, stones have a better use. Barbara says she can feel wind on her face. The old woman bursts through the back door of the cave, and they really need to work on their security, as stick doors aren't really fit for purpose. Her snitches on the old woman for taking Tsar's knife, when he quite rightly asks her, not her, why her didn't stop her. Not her. What? No! Her smartly deflects by calling him out on being so soundly asleep he didn't notice his weapon being grabbed. To be fair, rubbing away at your bone all day must be exhausting. To reassert his masculinity, Tsar begins to move the heavy boulder from the cave entrance, all by his big boy self. The old woman cuts the travellers free and they leg it through the open back door. Tsar and her enter through the front, and Tsar knocks the old woman down as she tells them what she's done. I'm sure a day can't get any worse. The doctor and company run through the forest, but tensions mount as the doctor needs a rest. Barbara finds an excuse to grab onto Ian, because of course you would. As they continue on, they become lost and argumentative. Things start to reach an emotional crescendo as Barbara starts to see things in the trees. Oh no, it's the Blair Witch's prehistoric ancestor. Ian and Barbara pose for the poster to an epic romance movie. Ian and the doctor get into a pissing contest about who's in charge, the doctor eventually acquiescing with all the grace of a drunk hippopotamus. They find a dead boar and their screams alert the following Tsar and her. Tsar is attacked by the demonic force from the evil dead. Hang on, is that what this place is? It's the Forest of Fear, the cradle of life for various horror movie evils. Ian, Barbara and Susan want to help the mauled Tsar, but the doctor doesn't want any of that bleeding heart do-gooder nonsense. That's our hero. They try to explain the notion of friendship to her, who gets jealous when either of the women try to touch Tsar's hot, glistening torso. Back at the cave, Cal finds the old woman and kills her for fleeing the travellers. While Ian, Susan and Barbara try to tend to Tsar, the doctor sulks on the sidelines. Eventually he picks up a stone. for Tsar to draw a map of the forest. Honest, that's absolutely positively genuinely his only intention. At the cave, Cal does a good Johnny Smith from the Dead Zone impression by claiming to have had a vision of Tsar killing the old woman and helping the strangers escape. Unfortunately, unlike all those genuine psychics, he's talking absolute crap. As the travellers leave the forest, the TARDIS is already surrounded by cave people. They obviously knew a substantial shortcut. See, the Doctor was right. He should have had Tsar draw a map out of the forest.